Rather the first, and then this blonde, water to left table to perfection, one brittle, one supple, one moment, my dear. Just so little. Oh, gosh, the birds are singing sweetly. You'll miss the birds completely. You're traveling so fleetly. VTuber? In VTuber? Is that someone supposed, or is that just me dinging? I'll be a dead man's dinging. Astronauts. Just doing the thing. Man, that's glaring. I can't fix that. I don't need so much contrast. I think. Angry what? No, we can't shadow that one. Music here, but I do not. So I'll just sit here in the chat and sing along with myself, I guess. It is a fairy tale night. be Grimm, because I'm going to do Grimm Fairy Tales as soon as I get shit put together. There. Hello. Fry. Hello. Hello. Okay, I'm just being weird now. Weird now. Because I'm just. I never know when I should get started with these or not. Well, admittedly, I haven't pulled the book out over yet. Give it another couple of minutes, maybe. When it shows up. If not, I'll just. Turn the bar light. What do you love to play with as a child? And you still know why? What? What did you love to play with as a child? And do you still know why? What? Rick. It's gonna make me play Red Dead Redemption. Or Red Dead Online anyway. Grand Theft Horse. Oh. Hi everyone. Everyone and anyone and all of you at once. I may or may not have been drinking. I also don't drink enough to make me sound weird. But anyone out there? Hello? Is anybody up there? Good. and said, I had something that was supposed to be playing musical. I had set to classical. VOD audio sound. VOD audio soundtrack. Which? Where is it? Why isn't it playing? Got that open? Probably because I don't know what that one's doing. Where is it? Central Which? I'm hooked on a feeling. Soundtrack. Which? It just have to be. Hold on. Oh, then okay. Nice. Do you like jazz? That's honestly do. Well, the Pokemon have come out to display. Alright. Ding, 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 ding. Whoa! Wow. So that's me. I don't know if that's you guys got. This says this plan. So my voice is a little soft. I guess just that. My voice at 125 percentile. Oh, wait. Check off. Not you. My voice at 125 percentile. Oh, wait. Check off. Not you. My voice at 125 percentile. No one's gonna come in? What are two ways so worthy? And what do you have? What are two ways so worthy? My beard. And what do you have? What do you have? What are two ways so worthy? My beard. Okay. Much better. What's that old Mecho? X-Men, Super Forest. Steamy Wolfers. Liquid Salt. Let's see, Sparrow, Fairy. Yeah, pleasant. Drink. Your missiles. What would you do? If I sang a song, got a key. I get by for my friends. Get high for my friends. Get by for my friends. No, not gonna do that. Okay. If you're bored, just let me know. Something. No one's coming in, so whip out my book. Whip. Okay. The last one. red. Bookmark is helping me Thrushbeard. Yeah, because I did the film last second. Foundling. Why are you asleep? Wake up, model. And there we go. Yeah. So that's what happens when I look down to them. Yeah. Get myself adjusted. That sounds bad. All over the place. I won't. I don't understand it. But yeah. Well. I guess I will switch my reading screen. Sure, I have the right book up. I do not have the right book up. That is something I'm recording for Clover. At least trying to record. It's been interesting, but it's not what I'm working on right now. Get that up. Oh, it's way the hell up there. Okay. I'm going to do. What's the Grimm? Yeah, the brothers Dreamy. Yeah, I know. I just have to do it that way. I don't have the channel screen. I don't know if I should have the channel screen. I should put the channel screen. Ouch. I'm gonna put the chat. Just here. I never thought about putting a chat on my screen. So. Can I shrink you? No. That's just properties. I don't want you. Square. Okay. That is not square. That is rectangle. And maybe. Why do you do it like that? It's not square at all. It's supposed to be 400 by 400 by 500. That's you guys have two shelves. So there you guys are. Right up there. No. Behind you. All the way. Because you guys are cool. And don't let anyone say otherwise. Okay. I'm gonna feel like I'm a bit. Waka. I need a hat. I'll figure out do that. Anyway. Okay. Guess we read long enough. It's popped up yet. So. Do I have? Oh, the sound not. Sound alerts. Coffee is on. Where's coffee? Where is my coffee? Coffee's there. Hold on top. My sound alerts. There too. Sound alerts. Oh, sound alerts gonna be my chat. I'm gonna move you down here. Yeah. No, nip sir. Just throw it. That's right there. Okay. So sound alerts are on. Coffee is on. Coffee is on. Put on here. Nothing's done anything or we gotta do a thing. Where's my throat? There's my throat. Whoa, throat is weak. Do not need Maryland hillsides. Let me just get up there. Okay. So things, clicks. Oh God. Excuse me. Coffee's in place. Storyteller talks, which is animated place. And Cubs, are you ready for bedtime stories? Are you sleepy? Wanna sleep? You go. Sleep. How do you do that? You go to sleep. Nope. We're good. Done it. Anyway, that's I guess I would do the sound check. Sound alerts. I don't want to do storyteller talk. Stop using mic auxiliary. I'm going to turn that up a little more. Don't make that fitty. Okay. And close. And hello, Cubs. That didn't change the damn thing. Audio. I'm not using microphone aware. Yeah, I'm using That's it. Better. Whoa! I can hear myself now. Groovy. If I can hear me, that means you can hear me, and we can live all happily. I like to think we're good. It's a beautiful day in my neighborhood. A beautiful day to be neighbors. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a lovely day. Okay. All right. Oh, enough of that shenaniganery. Or maybe almost enough of shenaniganery. Fairy tales. That's what we do here. That's what we are here. Okay, I was going to King Thrushbeard. So, Cubs, have you gone to the bathroom? Wash your hands. Cut in your glass of water. Use the bathroom again after the glass of water, because I know you'll want to, and you'll just lay there. Go, Uncle Ken, we gotta go to the bathroom. Well, I'm not tying you down to the bed. So yeah, just so you all be nice and comfy and cozy in bed, ready for stories. So, give me a second or so. Do make sure to wash your hands. I don't care if you brush your teeth. I mean, you should. I'm not gonna make you do it. I'm not gonna make you go to sleep. I would rather you go to sleep on your own. But if you fall asleep, listen to the stories. That is also all fine and good. Okay. We good. You gonna go to sleep on me? I mean, it's not like blow a trumpet or anything. I'll let you sleep. But okay. So, are you comfy? Are you cozy? Are you ready to go to sleep? Because I'm going to read Grimm's fairy tales. And
Some of them might be a little morbid. Not gonna lie. I mean, we had one entire section where kids were slaughtering each other. Pretending to be adults, and one was a baker, and another was a butcher, and then butchered sheep. That was pretending to be sheep. Yeah, so Grimm fairy tales, pretty grim. Okay. So if you're ready, Cubs. Right now, which one we are doing King Thrushbeard. If I recall, a thrush is a bird. So this guy's got birds in his beard, apparently. Anyway. Are you ready, Cubs? Are you ready? Cubs? Oh well. King Thrushbeard. A king had a daughter marvelously beautiful, but so proud and so haughty that she rejected one suitor after another, out of stubbornness and ridiculed them as well. Once her father held a great feast and invited all the marriageable young men to the event. They were all lined up according to the rank in class. First came the kings, then the dukes, the princes, the counts, the barons, and finally the gentry. The king's daughter was led down the line, and she found fault with each one of them. In particular, she made fun of the good king who stood at the head of the line, and a chin that was a bit crooked. My goodness, she exclaimed and laughed. He's got a chin like a thrush beak. Oh, there's the thrush. From then on, everyone called him Thrushbeard. When her father saw how his daughter did nothing but ridicule people, he became furious and swore that she would have to marry the first beggar that came to his door. A few days later, a minstrel appeared and began singing beneath the princess's window. When the king heard him, he ordered him to come up to him immediately. Despite his dirty appearance, his daughter had to accept him as her bridegroom. The minister was summoned right away. The wedding took place. After the wedding was finished, the king said to his daughter, "It's not fitting for you to stay in my palace any longer, since you're a beggar woman. Bad Danny. You must now depart with your husband." The beggar took her away, and as they walked through the huge forest, she asked the beggar, "Tell me, who might the owner of this beautiful forest be?" "King Thrushbeard owns the forest, and all you can see. If you had taken him, it would belong to you." "Alas, poor me! What can I do? I should have wed King Thrushbeard. If only I knew. Soon they crossed a meadow, and she asked again, Tell me, who might the owner of this beautiful green meadow be?" "King Thrushbeard owns the meadow, and all that you see. If you had taken him, it would belong to you. Alas, poor me! What can I do? I should have wed King Thrushbeard. If only I knew. Then they came to a large city, and she asked once more, "Tell me, who might the owner of this beautiful big city be?" "Well, King Thrushbeard owns the forest and all that you see. If you had taken him, it would belong to you. Alas, poor me! What can I do? I should have wed King Thrushbeard. If only I knew. The minstrel became very grumpy when he heard that she always desired another man. And didn't think that he was good enough for her. Finally, they came to a tiny cottage, and she exclaimed, "Oh Lord, what a wretched tiny house! It's not even fit for a mouse." Squeak, squeak, motherfucker. The beggar answered, "This house is our house. We shall live here together. And make a fire at once, and put the water on, so you can cook me my meal. I'm very tired." However, the king's daughter knew nothing about cooking, and the beggar had to lend a hand himself. At first, things went reasonably well. After they had went to bed. The next morning, she had to get up very early and work. A few days they lived miserably until the man finally said, "Wife, we can't go on this way any longer. We're eating everything up and not earning anything. You've got to weave baskets." He went out and cut some willows and brought them home. She had to begin to weave the baskets. However, the rough willows bruised her hands. "I can see you don't do work," said the man. Try some spinning. Perhaps you'll be better at this. She sat down and spun, but her fingers were so soft that the hard thread soon cut her. Blood began to flow. "You're not fit for any kind of work," said the man, who was now very irritated. "I'm going to start a business with earthenware. You're to sit in the marketplace and sell the wares." On the first occasion, everything went well. People gladly bought her pots because she was beautiful, and they paid what she asked. Indeed, many gave her money and didn't bother to take the pots with them. When everything had been sold, her husband bought a new earthenware. Once again, his wife sat down with the marketplace and hoped to make a good profit. Suddenly, a drunken hussar came along and galloping right over the pots, and they were all smashed to pieces. The woman became terrified. For the rest of the day, she didn't dare go home. When she finally did, the beggar was nowhere to be seen. For some time, she lived in poverty and in great need. Then a man came and invited her to a wedding. She wanted to take all leftovers from the wedding, and live off of them for a while. So she put on her little coat with a pot underneath, and stuck a large leather purse with it. The wedding was magnificent. Plenty of good things. She filled the pot with the leather purse with scraps. As she was about to leave, with everything, one of the guests demanded that she dance with him. She resisted with all her might, but to no avail. He grabbed hold of her, and she had to go with him. All at once the pot fell, so that the soup flowed to the ground, and the many scraps also tumbled out of her purse. When they saw this, they broke out in laughter and ridiculed her. She was so ashamed that she were 1,000 fathoms under the earth. She ran out the door and tried to escape. The man caught up with her on the stairs and brought her back. When she looked at him, she saw it was King Thrushbeard, and he said, "I am the beggar, the same person. And I was also a hussar who rode through your pots and smashed them to pieces. All this happened to you for your benefit, and to punish you because you ridiculed me some time ago. Now, however, our wedding will be celebrated." Then her father also appeared with his entire court, and she was cleaned and magnificently dressed, appropriate for her position. And the festive event was her marriage with Thrushbeard. Yeah. So kind of like that one. Beard that looks like a beak. Kind of weird. But Thrushbeard. So cool. Well, we all know where he got his name, and it wasn't his pecker. Oh, sorry, Cubs. Language. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, this next one looks a little bit more familiar. At least I'm sure some of you might know it. Little Snow White. Little Snow White. Yep. Snow White. Snow White. Not the weird modernized version that I was anyway. Once upon a time, in the middle of winter, when snowflakes were falling like feathers from the sky, a beautiful queen was sitting at a window with black ebony frame. As she was sewing and looking out the window, she pricked her finger with a needle, and 3 drops of blood fell upon the snow. The red looked so beautiful on the white snow that she thought to herself, if only I had a child as white as snow, as red as blood, and as black as the wood of this window frame. Soon thereafter, she gave birth to a little daughter, who was white as snow, red as blood, and her hair as black as ebony. Sounds pretty hot. No. That's why the child was called Little Snow White. And now you know. The queen was the most beautiful woman in the entire land, and very proud of her beauty. She also had a mirror. Every morning she stepped in front of it and asked, "Mirror, on the wall, who in this land is fairest of all?" The mirror would answer, "You, my queen, are the fairest of all." And then she knew for certain there was nobody more beautiful in the world. However, Little Snow White grew up into not so little Snow White. And when she was 7 years old, she was so beautiful that her beauty surpassed even that of the queen. And when the queen asked her mirror, mirror on the wall, who in this land is fairest of all? The mirror answered, "You, my queen, may have beauty quite rare, but Little Snow White is 1,000 times more fair." Hold up. This isn't even stepmom. This is actual mom. It doesn't say anything at all about the queen dying. Unless I missed something, but it does not look like it did. Anyway. You, my queen, may have a beauty quite rare, but Little Snow White is 1,000 times more fair. Jealousy. When the queen heard the mirror speak this way, she became pale with envy, and from that hour onward, she hated Snow White. And when she looked on her and thought Snow White was to blame for this, the queen was no longer the most beautiful woman in the world. Her heart turned against Little Snow White. Her jealousy kept upsetting her, and so she summoned the huntsman and said, "Take the child into the forest far from here. Then stab her to death and bring me her liver as proof of her deed. After that, I'll cook them with salt and eat them. Maybe have a nice Chianti. Some fava beans. Okay, that was sorry. The huntsman took Little Snow White into the forest. But when he drew his hunting knife, he was about to stab her. She began to weep and pleaded so much. Let her live and promised never to return, but to run deeper into the forest. The huntsman was moved to pity. Also because she was so beautiful. Anyway, he thought the wild beasts of the forest would soon devour her. I'm glad that I don't have to kill her. Just then a young boar came dashing by. The huntsman stabbed it to death. He took out the lungs and liver, brought them to the queen as proof that the child was dead. Quite tasty, actually. And then she boiled them in salt and ate them, and thought that she had eaten little Snow White's lungs and liver. Honestly, Cubs, liver isn't bad. I haven't tried lungs. Add that to my to-do list. Lungs. Although boiling with salt. How freaking bland is that? I mean, just salt. No es caliente. I need my spices. Oh well. Meanwhile, little Snow White was all alone in the huge forest. She became very afraid. Began to run over sharp stones and through thorn bushes. She ran the entire day. Finally, as the sun was about to set, she came upon a little cottage that belonged to the 7 dwarves. However, they were not home, but had gone to the mines. When little Snow White entered, she found everything tiny, but dainty and neat. There was a little tablecloth, 7 little plates, 7 little spoons, 7 tiny knives, tiny forks, and 7 tiny cups. In a row against the wall stood 7 little beds, recently covered with sheets. Since she was so hungry and thirsty, little Snow White ate some vegetables from each of the little plates, and had a drop of wine to drink out of each of the tiny cups. And since she was so tired, and an alcoholic apparently, she wanted to lay down and sleep. So she began trying out the beds, but none of them suited her. Until she found that the 7th bed was just right. So she lay down in it and fell asleep. When it turned night, the 7 dwarves returned home from their work, and lit 7 little candles. Then they saw that someone had been in their house. The first dwarf said, "Who's been sitting in my chair? Who's been eating off my plate?" said the second. "Who's eaten some of my bread?" said the third. "Who's been eating my vegetables?" said the fourth. "Who's been using my fork?" said the fifth. "Who's been cutting with my little knife?" said the sixth. "Who said something to drink from my little cup?" said the seventh. Then the first dwarf looked around and said, "Who's been sleeping in my bed?" The second cried out, "Someone's been sleeping in my bed." And as followed each one of them until the 7th dwarf looked at his bed. Saw little Snow White sleeping there. The others came running over to him, and they were so astounded that they screamed and fetched their 7 little candles to observe Snow White. "Oh my lord! How beautiful she is!" They took great delight in her, but didn't wake her up. Well, that just doesn't sound written well. They took great delight in her, but didn't wake her up. Instead, they let her sleep in the bed, while the 7 dwarfs spent an hour in each one of his companions' beds until the night had passed. When little Snow White woke up, they asked her who she was and how she managed to their cottage. And it was not Google Maps. Then she told them how her mother had wanted to have her killed. How the huntsman had spared her life, and how she had run all day until she eventually arrived at her cottage. Then the dwarves took pity on her. If you'll keep house for us, cook, make the beds, wash, knit. And if you'll keep everything neat and orderly, you can stay with us. We'll provide you with everything you need. When we come home in the evening, dinner must be ready. In the day when we're in the mines and dig for gold. You'll be alone. You'll have to watch out for the queen and not let anyone enter the cottage. In the meantime, the queen believed that she was once again the most beautiful woman in the land, and stepped before her mirror and asked, "Mirror, mirror, on the wall." No, mirror, 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 mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of all? The mirror answered, You, my queen, maybe have a beauty quite rare, but beyond the seven mountains, I must tell. Little Snow White is living quite well. Indeed, she's thousands more times more fair. Yeah. When the queen heard this, she was horrified. For she saw that she had been deceived, that the huntsman had not killed little Snow White, since nobody but the seven dwarves lived in the seven mountains region, because property taxes probably. The queen knew immediately that Little Snow White was well with them, and began once again plotting ways to kill her. As long as the mirror refused to say that she was the most beautiful woman in the land, she would remain upset. Since she couldn't be absolutely certain and didn't trust anyone, she disguised herself as an old headless woman, painted her face so that no one would recognize her, and went to the cottage of the seven dwarves, where she knocked on the door and cried out, "Open up! Open up! I'm an old peddler woman. I've got pretty wares for sale." Little Snow White looked out the window. "What have you got for sale? Because shopping. Home Shopping Network. Runs by a queen. Remember that. Not at all Amazon. Stay laces, dear child. The old woman replied, and took out a lace woven from yellow, red, and blue silk. Nice. Do you want it? Well, yes. Said Little Snow White thought, I can certainly let this old woman inside. She's honest enough. So Little Snow White bolted the door and bought the lace. My goodness, so sloppily laced up, said the old woman. Come, I'll lace you up properly for once. Little Snow White stood in front of the old woman, took the lace and tied it around so tightly that she lost her breath and fell down as if dead. Now, see, this kind of makes me wonder. It doesn't say how. But if you think about it, what was her outfit? She I'm gonna say she laced her corset up. Because cinching that tight enough that you can't breathe. I mean, everyone always kind of plays it off like tied it around her neck. I mean, I wasn't there for this one, but if the laces are done sloppily, I would say it was corset. Anyway. Not long after nightfall, the dwarves came home. They saw their dear Snow White lying on the ground. They were horrified, and she seemed to be dead. They lifted her up, and when they saw that she was laced too tightly, they cut the lace in two. Clearly, you've never been to Singapore. At once, she began to breathe a little, and after a while, she fully recovered. I thought about that. Clearly, you've never been to Singapore. nobody else but the queen, they said. She wanted to take your life. Be careful. Don't let anyone else in our cottage. Now the queen asked her mirror. Mirror, on the wall. Whose land is fairest of all? The mirror answered, You, my queen, may have a beauty quite rare. But little Snow White's alive. This I must tell. She's with the seven dwarves, doing quite well. Indeed, she's still a thousand times more fair. The queen was so horrified that all her blood rushed to her heart. She realized that Snow White was alive once again. So she began thinking day and night how she could put an end to little Snow White. Finally, she made a poisoned comb, disguised herself in a different shape. Went off to the dwarf's cottage once again. When she knocked on the door, however, Snow White called out, I'm not allowed to let anyone into. The queen then took out the comb, and little Snow White saw it shine. And the woman was someone entirely different from the one that she previously met. She opened the door, and bought the comb. Come, said the peddler woman. I'll also comb your hair. But no sooner did the woman stick the comb in little Snow White's hair that the maiden fell down and was dead. The end. No, so on. Now you will remain there, said, and her heart had become lighter as she returned home. However, the dwarves came back just in the nick of time. When they saw what had happened, they pulled the comb from Snow White's hair, opened her eyes, and she was alive again. You just can't make good poisons anymore. I'm causing suffocation is one thing. It's all fine and good. Poison comb. If the comb has to stay in the hair, just keep it going. Freaking hedge wizards. Anyway. She opened her eyes and was alive again. She promised the dwarves that she would certainly not let anyone inside again. Yeah, she's 2 for 2 on that one. Now the queen stepped in front of her mirror once more and asked, Mirror, on the wall, who in this land is fairest of all? The exasperated mirror answered, You, my queen, may have a beauty quite rare, but little Snow White's alive, this I must tell. She's with the dwarves, and doing quite well. Indeed, she's still a thousand times more fair. When the queen heard this once again, she trembled and shook with rage. Little Snow White shall die. She exclaimed, even if it costs me my own life, which it might. Then she went into her secret chamber, where no one was allowed to enter. Once inside, she made a deadly poisonous apple. On the outside, beautiful with red cheeks. Anyone who saw it enticed to take a bite, except me, because I don't like apples. But this is why. Thereafter, she disguised herself as a peasant woman. Once the dwarf's cottage knocked on the door. Little Snow White looked and said, I'm not allowed to let anyone inside. 7 dwarfs have strictly forbidden me. What I did last time. Well, if you don't want to let me in, I can't force you, answered the peasant woman. I'll surely get rid of my apples in time, but let me give you one to test. No, said little Snow White. I'm not allowed to take anything if the dwarfs won't let me. You're probably afraid, said the old woman. Look, I'll cut the apple in two. You eat the beautiful red half. However, the apple had been made with such cunning that only the red part was poisoned. When little Snow White saw the peasant eating her half, and when her desire to taste the apple grew stronger, she finally let the peasant give her the other half of the apple through the window. As soon as she took a bite of the apple, she fell to the ground and was dead again. The queen rejoiced, and went home and asked the mirror, Mirror on the wall, who in this land is fairest of all? The mirror answered, You, my queen, are now the fairest of all. Now I can rest in peace, she said. Once again, I am the most beautiful in the land, and Snow White will remain dead this time. When the dwarves came home from the mines that evening, they found little Snow White on the ground, and she was dead. They unlaced her, tried to find something poisonous in her hair, but nothing helped. They couldn't revive her, so they laid her on the bier, and all seven of them sat down beside it, and wept for 3 whole days. Then they intended to bury her, more alive than dead. But she still had such pretty red cheeks. So instead, they made a glass coffin, placed her in sight, so she could easily be seen. Then they wrote her name with gold letters, and added her family's name. One of the dwarves remained at home every day to keep watch over her. So little Snow White lay in the coffin for a long time, but did not rot. She was still white as snow, red as blood. And if her eyes could have opened, they would have seen the black as ebony. For she lay there as if she were sleeping. Now it happened that the prince came to the dwarf's cottage one day and wanted to spend the night there. When he entered the room, saw little Snow White lying in the coffin, and the seven candles casting their light on her, he couldn't get enough of her beauty. Then he read the gold inscription and saw that she was a princess. So he asked the dwarves to sell him the coffin with Snow White inside of it. Wow. Can I buy your little dead girl? I want to put her in my museum. It's a nice display. Not as all anything perverse. But the dwarves wouldn't accept all the gold in the world for it. Then he pleaded with them to give Snow White to him as a gift, because he couldn't live without gazing upon her. And he would honor her, hold her high regard, most beloved in the world. Well. The dwarves took pity on him and gave him the coffin. The prince had it carried to his castle. It was then placed in his room, where he himself sat the entire day and take his eyes off of her. And when he had to leave his room, he couldn't see little Snow White. He became sad. Indeed, he couldn't eat a thing unless he was standing near the coffin. However, the servants carried the coffin from the castle all the time, angry about this. And one time, a servant opened the coffin, lifted little Snow White there and said, "Why must we be plagued with so much work because of this little dead maiden?" On saying this, he shoved Snow White back with his hand, and out popped a nasty piece of apple stuck in little Snow White's throat. And she was alive once again. As soon as this happened, she went to the prince. And when he saw his dear Snow White alive, he rejoiced so much that he didn't know what to do, except apologize for what he'd been doing while she was asleep. Nope. Then they sat down and ate with delight. And the wedding was planned for the next day. And godless mother was also invited to attend. When she now stepped in front of the mirror, said along with me, kiddos. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who in this land is the fairest of all? And the mirror said, You, my queen, may have a beauty, quite rare. But little Snow White is a thousand times more fair. When she heard this, she was horrified. Became so afraid, very afraid, that she didn't know what to do. However, her jealousy drove her so much that she wanted to be seen at the wedding. When she arrived, she saw that little Snow White was the bride. Iron slippers were then heated over a fire. The queen had to put them on, dance in them, and her feet were miserably burned. She had to keep dancing in them until she danced herself to death. That is one hell of a party. Oh, that music is really getting loud. Oh, this is loud to me. I don't know if you guys hear it or not. Whoa! No sound. Oh, I saw it on jazz. You like jazz? Go back to classical. Hello, cello. Oh yeah. So, that was Little Snow White. Snow White's little. I guess. It's me and four bots. No. Our next wonderful story is one that I think I feel like I read before. No. It is Simple Hans. Sorry. Once a king lived happily with his daughter, who was his only child. Then all of a sudden, she gave birth to a baby, and no one knew who the father was. For a long time, the king didn't know what to do. At last, he ordered the princess to take the child and give it to the church. Once there, the lemon was to be placed in the hands of the child, and the boy was to walk about and offer it to a man. As soon as the boy stopped and chose a man, they would know that was the child's father, and that he would be declared the princess's husband. Everything that arranged accordingly. And the king also gave orders to allow only highborn people into the church. That's weird policy for marrying off a daughter. Oh God, the kid would come straight to me if I'd been there. No. Oh crap! One kid did give me a lemon. Oh shit! I'm a dad. Where the hell is my princess? I don't know. However, there was a crooked little hunchback living in the city who was not particularly smart and was therefore called Simple Hans. Because Hans. Well, he managed to push his way into the church among the others without being noticed. And when the child offered the lemon, he handed it to Simple Hans. The princess was mortified, and the king was so upset that he had his daughter, the child, Simple Hans, stuck in a barrel, which was cast into the sea. Wow. Daddy no like son-in-law. The barrel soon floated off when they were alone. See, the princess groaned and said, "You nasty, impudent hunchback. You're to blame for my misfortune. Fucking some random stranger, clearly. Why did you force your way into the church? My child's no concern of you. That's not true, said someone. It does concern me because I once made a wish that I could have a child. And whenever I wish comes true. Well, if that's the case, wish us something to eat. That's easily done, replied Simple Holmes. And he wished for a dish full of potatoes. Princess would have liked to have something better. Nevertheless, she was so hungry that she joined him in eating the potatoes. After they satisfied the hunger, Simple Hans said, "Now wish us a beautiful ship." No sooner that he had said that, they were sitting in a splendid ship that contained more than enough to fulfill their desires. The helmsman guided the ship straight towards land, and when they went to shore, Simple Hans said, "Now I want a castle over there." Suddenly, there was a magnificent castle standing there, along with servants dressed in golden uniforms. They led the princess and her child inside, and when they were in the middle of the main hall, Simple Hans said, "Now I wish to be a young and clever prince." All at once, the hunchback disappeared, and he was a handsome, upright, and kind. Indeed, the princess took a great liking to him now that he was freaking princesses. Anyway, indeed, the princess took such a great liking to him that she became his wife. For a long time, they lived happily together. And one day, the old king went out riding, lost his way, and arrived at their castle. He was puzzled because he had never seen it before and decided to enter. The princess recognized her father immediately, but he did not recognize her, for he thought she had drowned in the sea a long time ago. She treated him with a great deal of hospitality, and when he was about to return home, she secretly slipped the golden cup in his pocket. After he had ridden off, sent a pair of knights after him. They were ordered to stop him and search him and see if he had stolen the golden cup. Hey, Clover. How you doing this evening? Echoing? That doesn't surprise me. Turns out I got my volume turned up loud enough that I'm actually picking myself up on my microphone. Echo. Any better? I also said I only have the one mic activated. Double check. Using my headset microphone through the recording. Speak again, or forever hold my peace. Desktop audio headsets. What's at microphones? Another one's listed active. Hold on, let me do something real quick. Freaking Discord. Oh, got Discord muted. That's weird. Well, that's what's checking because both things were set up to the same microphone. And I've actually got the audio mixer for the Discord microphone turned off. Make sure it's off. I don't see anything marking on it. A half-second delay. Hold on. I think I see what's going on. Okay, now what's it doing? It's still showing up on here. Okay, for some reason it's coming over the VOD audio for Twitch, which is supposed to just be playing the music, but apparently it isn't. Yeah, that means it was a VOD. Of course, my music track would be gone. Yeah. Can you actually hear the music? Okay. Maybe that's what's acting up. Just turn it off since I'm doing it. Hey, Kimo. How you doing? It is reading fairy tales tonight. And I was almost done with Simple Hans. Oh, if I could figure out how to rig it, I'd probably try. And so this is one that Twitch provides, and I'm not sure why it was picking up my voice. But I started looking at the audio mixer and noticed it was reacting to my voice, so I figured that was it. Where was I? Golden cup in his pocket when they were. Oh. Dang, I don't know the paragraph left of the story. Switch scenes real quick. So. So what all did you two do today? So, any good games? And Clover, I'd started trying to record myself from eating the Yellow Dragon's Pet. I was having so much time keeping up with the names. Of course, it was also 2 o'clock in the morning, and I wasn't reading that well in the first place. Okay. Eh, doesn't hurt to do a shout out for you anyway. Next one is doing Rumpelstiltskin. Wait a bit. Well, it's like my first read through on that part of the chapter. I just got in there, it's going, wait, I tongue tied. So yeah. Of course, I'm not going to say how many times I tried to record the first chapter. I think I got maybe 2 or 3 passes on it, and then I just went, okay, I'm just going to read like a couple paragraphs at a time. I tried to do the entire section, but I would like catch myself. Again, I was trying to do it at 2:30 in the morning. Tomorrow I'm actually going to a convention, so. Yeah, I was kind of figuring that when I was looking at them because the names fit a particular scheme, so I had a feeling that they did have a basis for meaning. I didn't really have time to get a cosplay set up. I just made myself my badge that I posted on Twitter. No, I haven't gotten to go to a convention for about 2 years. Of course, it's also been like the 90s here for the past 3 days, so can't imagine many cosplays that wouldn't overheat in. Especially fur. Yeah, dude, I'm going to try to take pictures, but it's gotten to where I don't take my camera, so I don't think about it, and my phone's usually in my pocket. Unless I'm like trying to stream video or doing something like that, but last time I got any con pictures, it was because I gave my niece and her friend my camera. Though there is going to be a maid cafe. I may have to do something with that. Because, Neko Maid Cafe. Who could pass it up? Neko. I don't even know where my camera... Oh, there's my camera. Radcon? I don't know, the biggest conventions I've managed to make get to was Acon, that's in Dallas. It's a fairly good sized anime convention. And I went to 2 of the Star Wars celebrations. Of course, I had money. Now I'm just a broke wolf. At least my models is acting a little bit better today. I've noticed a lot of conventions choose the same weekend to do anything anymore, which makes it really hard for people to go to multiple conventions. It's like we've got 2 conventions that go on here. One is the spring one, and the other one's end of summer. But the end of summer is also when Gen Con is. So I didn't even get to go to Gen Con when I lived in Indy. It's like the one time I could have gone, and no one wanted to go with me, so I didn't go. Now, see, I would like to live in that area because the weather's a hell of a lot better than Texas. I like rain. I like forests. I like mountains. I don't like open freaking fields and lots of wind and heat. Well, see, that sounds like it's close to the size that Acon is. And I knew at least 3 or 4 of the people that work there. Of course, 2 or 3 of them were relatives, so that could have been part of it. Okay, 3-hour playlist. Beautiful medieval tavern music. Oh, not bad. Doesn't want to save that one. Look here. Right. Can't type. Pause acting up. Okay. Ooh, I actually see one. Let's see this one too. Finding all these ones that have rain. That's the kind of stuff I sleep to. What is a binnacle? Don't think I've ever seen one. Of course, I'm really behind on my Pokemon. It's a 401. Dun, dun. Well, see, a long time ago, when my family actually used to take like long vacations, by this cool Dodge van, and it had an eighth track tape player. And the thing that I listened to the most was literally called One Stormy Night. And since it was 8-track, it was continuous play, and I slept a lot in car trips. Take my Pokemon. I didn't have any Pokemon. I'd say the Ataris were fun. What's really bad is I actually found the album of the 8-track tape player. So I've got the LP somewhere. And what's really bad is the entire thing was recorded during a thunderstorm. Like, actual thunderstorm. Because they had the liner notes on it. And it was a case of they had gone in for a recording session, they were supposed to just do music, and the thunderstorm started coming up. So one of the guys ran up with recording equipment and rigged some setup on the roof and recorded the thunderstorm, and then just mixed it in with the music. Which Atari do you have? I think I had one of the Atari rewinds they did a couple years ago. But it was all like preloaded games. Yeah, kids are a little on the destructive side. 2600, cool. Get off there. Let me see that. Okay, why is that playing? So chapter 2 wouldn't be bad. Maybe put it over the little frame over the 30 foots. Trying to see if I can get the audio to even cooperate with me right now. I can't get the audio to come through for it. Maybe. Let's see if I can do. That should be coming through. Oh, can you hear the music on it? Go to that window and see what I can do. Okay, get that one there. Turn it down here. Oh, duh. Now I get the feeling it's just going to get my voice. That's loud. I have the same problem trying to do game audio. Let me fix one more thing on it. Okay. How's the volume on that? Definitely a catchy tune. Oh, it depends on how it sounds while I'm speaking. Because if I'm going by what the signature codes are, it's barely the same level as I am. So if I were to just hold a single monotonous tone like wow, it muted me out. I did the same tone long enough and it kills my mic. It just makes me remember not to sing certain songs then. And now I'm buzzing. I feel like it. Wow. no. What the Picamachiku? It does not like me doing sustained notes. It's strange that I have the mouth set more to. It registers where I'm speaking, as opposed. Makes my voice go into an almost buzzy background sound. Yeah, I can see that. That means I have a low droning voice. And it drops off right there. Maybe it's because the thing thinks I'm causing feedback. That's weird. Ah, dang, I didn't catch it. Oh. That's not audio, that's drop that 200. Of course. Dun, 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 dun. There it goes. Just drops right off after a couple of seconds. Dun, 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 dun. Like, dun, 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 yeah, dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
I don't know if that played loud enough to do anything.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
It's like, release the bees. Oh, if my microphone cuts off, I wouldn't even be able to do a decent woo. And my recorded one's 12 seconds. I've recorded longer. I just did not upload longer. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, everyone needs to howl every now and then. I howled at a Halloween. Oh, there's a place that they do the Scarborough. I'm getting it again. Damn it. Dun, dun. Anyway, there's a place that usually does Renaissance festivals, but during Halloween, they switch it over to Halloween festivals. And one of the things they decided to do is have a werewolf howling contest. I didn't enter. So they had people on stage with a microphone howling. Me at the back of the audience area, I just stepped behind a sign so no one could see me, and I howled, and I freaked people out. But not as bad as when I did at Disney World. I said my howl at Disney World was an entirely different situation. But another interesting story. I thinking we were at Animal Kingdom, and the whole Pocahontas was there doing the storytelling, and I'd say, okay, and she said she needed audience participation. And at one time during her story, she said that the wolves howled, and that's when people in the audience are supposed to howl. I freaked out so many kids. I howl for shits and giggles. And there was one time I was leaving work one night, and, mother was walking her daughter out, and they were trying to get everything loaded in the car, and the daughter, just for no reason, decided to howl. The mother just kind of looked at her and goes, "You're a strange little beastie." And then a couple seconds later, the daughter howled again. Well, I thought, well, I've got a mask on. No one can tell what the hell I'm doing. I howled back. Oh, the daughter just started squealing, and the mother, she came back with the perfect line. She just goes, "Now look what you did. You started a howl." I think I got one of my longer howls that I put on TikTok. And as much as I don't like the video, the audio was fun. I'm not sure if this headset mic would do it or not. If it's cutting me off when I'm just holding out long notes, it's not going to let me do it. No. Yep. Microphone cut off. Damn it. That wasn't even a good one. Oh, you started a hell? That's from Zootopia. Uh, yeah, I do. It is Kintron 5017, I think. Yeah. Oh. It cut me off again. Damn it. Dun, 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 dun. Yep, that means something. Roland 2. Roland. Deb. Excuse me. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Dun, 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 dun. Da, 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 da. Dun, dun. Da, 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 da. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, that's weird. Something. Dun, dun, dun. Use Twitter. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Come on, Twitter. Dun, dun. So who will join you on that one? Ah, okay. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I'm sure that would be. Can't seem to get anyone in my family to howl. Okay. Interesting when I have the screen minimized with YouTube, it just blacks out the screen. Bedtime? Well, yeah, it's what, 8:55 there? I don't know. That's the time that I start reading stories. Oh, wake up. So my model was falling asleep on me. Could be really weird and say, take the phone in there. Let them have a bedtime story read to them by a wolf. Yeah, why does my model keep trying to fall asleep? You added more songs? It's like the next story I had in my book was Rumpelstiltskin. Turn the music down. Yeah. Or I can be mistakenly bad on language sometimes. Let's see, where can I add the music window to this one? Oh, can you still hear the music? Or is it just doing my voice again? Okay. That's it. That's weird. Because the music hasn't stopped in my... Well, I've been hearing the music all this time. Okay. Do not need it on top. Figure out why that's not doing it. Is it coming through now? I could do it that way. Just what do you need? That's what it's picking up on my microphone. The only problem is it makes the Discord reactive look like I'm singing. That's a bad thing, I guess. Better? Dun, 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 dun. Okay. That's the problem with being a headset mic. I turn my head and it gets away from the music. Okay. See, how many pages is Rumpelstiltskin? Rumpelstiltskin isn't even 2 pages long. Do you think they need a story? Okay. I guess I'll go ahead and do Rumpelstiltskin. Once upon a time, there was a miller who was very poor, but he had a beautiful daughter. Now, one day he happened to talk to the king and said, "I have a daughter who knows the art of transforming straw into gold." So the king had the miller's daughter summoned to him right away and ordered her to spin all the straw in a room into gold in one night. And if she couldn't do this, she would die. Yeah, I'm a pocket wolf. It's been a long time since I fit in anyone's pocket. Okay. Then she was locked in the room where she sat and wept. For the life of her, she didn't have the slightest inkling of how to spin straw into gold. All of a sudden, a little man entered the room and said, "What will you give me if I spin everything into gold?" She took off her necklace and gave it to the little man. and he did what he promised. The next morning the king found the entire room filled with gold, but because of this, his heart grew even greedier, and he locked the miller's daughter in another room full of straw that was even larger than the first, and she was to spin it all into gold. Then the little man came again, and she gave him a ring for one of her fingers, and everything was spun to gold. However, on the third night, the king had locked her again into another room with a larger than the other two and filled with straw. "If you succeed, you shall become my wife," he said. Then the little man came and spoke. "I'll do everything for you one more time, but you must promise me your firstborn child that you will have with the king." Out of desperation, she promised him what he wanted, and when the king saw once again how the straw had been spun into gold, he took the miller's beautiful daughter for his wife. Soon thereafter, the queen gave birth, and the little man appeared before her and demanded the promised child. However, the queen offered the little man all that she could and all the treasures of the kingdom if he would let her keep the child, but it was all in vain. Then the little man said, "In 3 days I'll come to fetch the child, but if you know my name by then, you shall keep the child." During the first and second nights, the queen tried to think of the little man's name, but she wasn't able to come up with a name, became completely depressed. On the third day, however, the king returned home from hunting and told her, "I was out hunting the day before yesterday, and when I went to a deep, dark forest, I came upon a small cottage. And in front of this house was a ridiculous little man, hopping around as if he only had one leg and was screeching, 'Today I'll brew, tomorrow I'll bake, soon I'll have the queen's namesake. Oh, how hard it is to play my game, for Rumpelstiltskin is my name.'" When the queen heard this, she rejoiced, and when the dangerous little man came, he asked, "What's my name, your highness?" She responded first by guessing, "Is your name Conrad?" "No." "Is your name Henry?" "No." "Is your name Rumpelstiltskin?" "The devil told you that!" The little man screamed, and he ran off at full anger and never returned. Oh, very short story. The next one is Sweetheart Roland. Once upon a time, there was a mother who had one daughter of her own, and hated her stepdaughter because she was 1,000 times more beautiful and better than her own. One time, the stepdaughter wore a beautiful apron that the other daughter liked, and coveted so much that out of envy she told her mother that she wanted an apron and insisted that she get it for her. "Be quiet, my dear child," said the mother. "You soon will have it. Your stepsister has long been deserved to die, and tonight I want you to get into the rear of the bed and push her towards the front. Then I'll come when she's asleep and chop off her head." But the stepdaughter had been standing in the corner and had overheard everything. So she let the wicked daughter climb into bed first so she could lie down on the far side. But after she fell asleep, the other beautiful sister pushed her toward the front and took her place in the rear of the bed. During the night, the old woman crept into the room. She felt around to see if someone was actually lying up front. Then she gripped an axe with both hands and began chopping it until she chopped off her own child's head. After she had left the room, the maiden stood up and went to her sweetheart, whose name was Roland, and knocked on his door. "Listen," she cried out. "We must flee in haste. My stepmother killed her own daughter, and she thinks she actually killed me. When the sun rises and she sees what she's done, I'll be lost. So I've taken her magic wand to help ourselves along the way." Sweetheart Roland stood up, and before they left, they went first to take the dead head of the stepsister. About 3 drops of blood dripped from it onto the floor. 1 in front of the bed, 1 in the kitchen, and 1 on the stairs. Then they ran off. The next morning, when the mother got up and called, she called her daughter. "Come, you'll soon get your apron now." But the daughter didn't come. "Where are you?" "Here I am, on the stairs sweeping," answered 1 of the drops of blood. The old woman went out, but saw no one there. "Where are you?" "Here I am, in the kitchen, warming myself," the second drop of blood replied. The old woman went to the kitchen, but found no one there. "Where are you?" "Here I am, in bed sleeping." The old woman ran into the room, and where she saw her own daughter on her bed swimming in blood, she was horrified and realized that she had been deceived. All at once she burst into anger and rushed to the window. Since she was a witch, she could see quite far into the world, and she spotted her stepdaughter fleeing with her sweetheart. They were already far away. So she put on her 7-league boots, and it didn't take her long before she had overtaken them. However, the maiden knew through the magic wand that they were being followed, and turned herself into a lake, and her sweetheart Roland into a duck that swam on it. When the stepmother arrived, she sat down on the bank of the lake and threw breadcrumbs to lure the duck to shore. But it was in vain, and by nightfall the old woman had to return home, without having accomplished anything. Meanwhile, the maiden and her sweetheart regained their natural forms and continued on their way. At daybreak, however, the witch pursued them once more. Then the maiden changed herself into a beautiful flower growing in the middle of a briar hedge, and her sweetheart was transformed into a fiddler. When the old woman arrived, she asked the fiddler whether she could pluck the beautiful flower. "Of course," he answered, "and I'll play the tune while you're doing it." She crawled onto the hedge to pluck it, and as she reached the middle of the hedge, she began to play a tune, and she was compelled to dance, and dance without stopping, so that the thorns tore her clothes from her, and scratched her so badly that blood flowed, and she died from the wounds. Now they were both free, and Roland said to the maiden, "I want to go to my father and arrange for the wedding. In the meantime, I'll turn myself into a red stone and stay here, and wait until you return." Roland departed, and the maiden stood in the field as a red stone and waited for her sweetheart a long time. But he didn't return, and had forgotten her. When he failed to come back, she grew sad, turned herself into a flower, and thought, "Surely someone will come along and trample me." But a shepherd found the flower, and since it was so beautiful, he took it with him and tucked it away in a chest. From that time on, amazing things began to happen in the shepherd's cottage. When he got up in the morning, all the work would already be done. The sweeping, the dusting, a fire in the hearth. At noon, when he came home, the food was cooked, and the table was set, and the meal served. He couldn't figure out how all this happening, for he never saw a living soul in his cottage. Though it pleased him very much, he eventually became frightened and went to a wise woman for advice. She told him that there was magic behind all this, and that he should get up early some morning and watch for anything that moved in the room. Then, if he saw something, he was to quickly throw a white cloth over it. The shepherd did as she told him, and on the following morning he saw the chest open and the flower come out. Immediately he drew the white cloth over the flower, and suddenly the transformation came to an end, and the beautiful maiden, whom her sweetheart Roland had forgotten, stood before him. The shepherd wanted to marry her, but she said no, because she only wanted to serve him and clean his house. Soon thereafter she heard that Roland was about to hold a wedding and marry another maiden. It was customary at this event for every person to attend to sing. So the faithful maiden also went, but she didn't want to sing until she was at last compelled to. As she began to sing, Roland recognized her right away, jumped up and said that she was his true bride, and he didn't want anyone else but her. So he married her, and her sorrows came to an end while her joy began to thrive. Yeah, it's a little dense. Okay, Cubs. The next one is the golden bird. A certain king had a pleasure garden. Good night, everybody. That's kind of weird. A certain king had a pleasure garden, and in this garden there was a tree that bore golden apples. Soon after the apples became ripe, one was found missing on the very first night. The king became furious and ordered his gardener to keep watch under the tree every night. So the gardener commanded his eldest son to guard the tree, but he fell asleep at midnight, and the next night another apple was missing. So the gardener had his second son stand guard the following night. But he too fell asleep at midnight, and in the morning yet another apple was missing. Now the third son wanted to stand guard, but the gardener wasn't satisfied at first. Finally he relented, and the third son lay down under the tree and watched, and when the clock struck midnight the air was filled with noise, and a bird came flying. It was entirely made of gold, and just as it was about to peck off the apple into its beak, the gardener's son stood up and hurriedly shot an arrow at the bird. However, the arrow didn't harm the bird other than costing it a feather, as it quickly flew away. The next morning, the golden feather was brought to the king, who immediately assembled his counselors, and everyone declared unanimously that a feather like that was worth more than his entire kingdom. One feather alone won't help me, said the king. I must have the entire bird. So the king's eldest son set out, and he was certain to find the golden bird. After he had gone a short distance, he came to a forest, and on the edge of the forest sat a fox. So the prince grabbed his rifle and took aim, but the fox started speaking. Don't shoot. I'll give you some good advice if you hold your fire. I already know where you want to go. You want to catch the golden bird. This evening you'll come to a village where you'll see two inns facing each other. One will be brightly lit with a great deal of merrymaking inside. Don't go into that place. Instead, go to the other inn, even though it looks dismal. But the son thought, how can an animal give me sensible advice? Hey, wait a minute. And then it's the fox. And he took his rifle and pulled the trigger. However, his shot missed the fox, who stretched out his tail and quickly dashed into the forest. Then the oldest son continued his journey, and by evening he arrived at the village within two inns standing. In one of them, they were singing and dancing, while the other appeared rather dismal and shabby. I'd certainly be a fool, he thought, if I were to stay in the dismal-looking inn instead of staying in the beautiful one here. So he went to the cheerful inn, lived to the hilt like a king, and forgot the bird and his home. After some time passed, the oldest son still hadn't returned home. The second son set out, and he too encountered the fox and received good advice. But when he came to the inn, he saw his brother at the window of the inn, in which there were sounds of carousing. The king was most fond of him, and was afraid that he would have a mishap if he didn't return. However, the son wouldn't leave him in peace, so that the king finally permitted his son to depart. I skipped a section. At the edge of the forest, he too encountered the fox, who gave him the same good advice. Since the young prince was good-natured and didn't attempt to harm an animal's life, the fox said, "Climb on my tail, and I'll get you there more quickly." No sooner did the prince sit down on the fox's tail than the fox began to run. And the fox went over sticks and stones so swiftly that the wind whistled through the prince's hair. When they came to the village, the prince got off the tail, followed the fox's good advice, and without looking around entered the shabbier inn and spent a quiet night there. The next morning he found the fox on his way again. The fox said to him, "If you go straight ahead, you will eventually come to a castle. In front of this castle there's a whole regiment of soldiers lying on the ground. But don't worry about them, for they'll all be snoring and sleeping. Enter the castle and proceed until you come to the chamber where the golden bird is hanging in a wooden cage. Nearby, you'll also find a magnificent golden cage hanging just for decoration. But be careful not to take the bird out of his shabby cage and put it in the good one. Otherwise, you'll be in for trouble." Upon saying these words, the fox stretched out his tail again, and the prince sat down. The fox raced over sticks and stones so swiftly that the wind whistled through the prince's hair again. When the young man arrived in front of the castle, everything was as the fox said it would be. He entered the last room, saw the golden bird sitting in a wooden cage, and also the golden cage beside it. 3 golden apples were lying on the room as well. The prince thought it would be ridiculous to leave the beautiful bird in the ugly cage, so he opened the door, grabbed hold of the bird, and put it in the golden cage. As soon as that happened, the bird uttered a dreadful cry that caused the soldiers to wake up, and soon they took the prince prisoner and led him to the king. The next morning he was brought before the court, and after he confessed to everything, was sentenced to death. However, the king said that he would spare his life under one condition. The prince had to bring him the golden horse that ran faster than the wind. If he did, he would receive the golden bird as his reward. The prince set out, but was depressed inside. All of a sudden, however, the fox stood in front of him again and said, "You see, all of this happened because you didn't listen to me. However, if you listen to me, I'll give you advice once again, this time how to get the golden horse. First, you must go straight ahead until you come to a castle where the horse is standing in the stable. There will be stable boys lying on the ground out front, but they will be snoring and sleeping. And you will be able to lead the golden horse out of its stall with ease. But make sure you put your poor wooden and leather saddle on the horse, not the golden one that's hanging nearby." Then the youngest son sat down on the fox's tail, and the fox raced over the sticks and stones so swiftly that the wind whistled through the prince's hair. Shortly after, everything happened as the fox said it would. The grooms snored and were holding golden saddles in their hands. When he saw the golden horse, he felt sorry for it, thought it would be a shame to put the poor saddle on it. So he decided to give the horse one that he deserved. Yet, just as one was about to take his golden saddle from the stable boys, the groom woke up, as did the others. Again he was captured and thrown into prison. The next morning he was sentenced to death again. However, his life would be spared, and he would be granted the golden horse and the bird if he fetched the marvelous little princess. So the son sadly set on his way, and soon the old fox was standing there again. "Why didn't you listen to me?" you'd have the bird and the horse by now. Nevertheless, I'll give you advice one more time. Now go straight out, and toward evening you'll come to a castle. At midnight, the princess will go to the bathhouse and bathe herself. No, he doesn't. Listen to the old foxes, we're good at this. You're to go inside and give her a kiss. By doing this, you'll be able to take her with you, but don't allow her to take leave of her parents. Okay. The fox stretched out his tail and raced over sticks and stones so swiftly that the wind whistled through the prince's hair. When he arrived at the golden castle, it was just as the fox had said it would be. At night, he gave the princess a kiss in the bathhouse, and she was ready to go with him, but she implored with tears to let her say farewell to her parents. At first he refused, but when she kept on weeping and fell at his feet, he finally gave in. But no sooner did the princess approach her father than he and everyone else in the castle woke up, and the young man was taken prisoner. No, he just had to kiss her and say, "You're coming with me, don't talk to your parents again." The next morning, the king said to him, "You may have my daughter, only if you remove the mountain that's lying in front of my window and blocking my view. You have 1 week to perform the task." This mountain, however, was so huge, so very huge, that it would have taken all the people in the world to carry it away. And after he had worked for 7 whole days and saw how little he had accomplished, he became very worried. However, on the evening of the 7th day, the fox appeared and said, "Go lie down and get some sleep. I'll do the job for you." The next morning, when the young man awoke, the mountain had vanished. So he went cheerfully to the king and told him that the mountain had been removed, and now he was to give him his daughter. So the king had to do this, and the two of them now set out together. However, the fox came and said, "Now we must have all 3, the princess, the horse, and the bird. If you only listen, things will work out," the fox replied. "Now when you come to the king, who demanded the marvelously beautiful princess, tell him, 'Here she is.' There will be enormous rejoicing. So mount the golden horse like they give you, and shake hands with everyone and say goodbye. Make sure that the beautiful maiden is the last person, and when you clasp her hand, swing her up on one motion with the horse with you and gallop away." Everything went as planned, and the fox spoke once more to the young man. "Now, as you approach the castle where the golden bird is being kept, I'll remain with the princess before the gate. Then ride into the castle courtyard. They'll see that the golden horse is the right one, and so they'll carry out the golden bird. You remain sitting and tell them you want to see if the bird is the right one. As soon as you have the cage in your hand, you race away." Everything went well, and as soon as he had the bird, the princess got on the horse, and they continued to ride through into the vast forest. Then the fox came and said he wanted the young man to shoot him dead and cut off his tail and paws. However, the young man absolutely refused. "Well then," said the fox, "at least I'll give you one last piece of advice. Beware of 2 things. Don't buy flesh that's bound for the gallows, and don't sit on the edge of a well." Okay. That's not so difficult, if that's all there is to it. So now the young man continued his journey with the beautiful maiden until he fully came to the village where his 2 brothers had remained. All at once there was a great commotion and uproar, so he asked what was going on, and was told that 2 men were about to be hanged. When he came closer to the scene, he saw that the men were his brothers, who had committed all sorts of terrible acts and had squandered all of their possessions. Yeah, listen to the fox. I mean, they're foxes for a reason. It's something Nude was talking about. Anyway. Can't they be pardoned in any way? The young man asked. Not unless you're willing to spend your money for these crooks and buy their freedom. The prince didn't think twice about it, and paid what they demanded. His brothers were set free, and he continued the journey in their company. When they came to the forest where they first met the fox, it was cool and lovely there, and the 2 brothers said, "Let's go over to the well and rest a while. We could also eat and drink." The young prince said yes, and during their conversation, he forgot the fox's warning and sat down on the edge of the well, not suspecting any evil doing. But the 2 brothers pushed him backwards into the well, took the maiden, the horse, and the bird, and went home to the king. "We've managed to capture all of this, and we've brought you everything." There was great rejoicing, and the horse refused to eat, the bird didn't sing, and the maiden sat and wept. Meanwhile, the youngest brother lay down in the well that unfortunately was dry, and even though he hadn't broken any of his arms or legs, he couldn't find his way out. Meanwhile, the old fox came once again and scolded him for not listening, because otherwise he would not have happened. "Nevertheless, I can't help myself and must help you out. Grab my tail and hold on tightly." Then the fox pulled him up to the top. When they were above, the fox said, "Your brothers have posted guard, who are to kill you if you cross the border." So the prince put on the clothes of a poor man, and he succeeded in reaching the king's court without being recognized. No sooner was he there than the bird began to sing, the horse began to eat, and the princess stopped weeping. When the prince appeared before the king and revealed his brother's crimes and how everything had happened, so the brothers were seized and executed, and he received the princess. Later, after his father's death, he became king as well. Many years later, the prince went walking through the forest again and encountered the old fox, who implored him desperately to shoot him dead and cut off his head and paws. This time, the prince did it, and no sooner was it done that the fox turned into none other than the brother of the beautiful princess, and was finally released from his magic spell. Listen to foxes. They know what they're talking about. Yeah. Definitely sounded like his brothers are complete assholes. But the fox being the princess's brother, well, that was a mysterious twist ending. Though it does make you wonder if he had done the cutting off the head, tail, and legs the first time you asked, would the fox have been able to rescue him from the well? Let's see, I'm not even at the halfway point in this book. It does make you wonder. The prince didn't bring back the golden apples. Sure, he brought the horse and the bird and the princess, but the apples were the whole reason he went out there to find the bird. So. True. Well, it never did say who the princess. Oh, no, the. Does it make you wonder if the bird and the horse actually belong to the prince? Or should have suspected the fox was magic when it was letting the guy ride his tail. Yeah. Because he was literally stretching out his tail and let the young prince ride it. Oh, the first line of that story just got me, though. That's right there. Read it a couple of times. I mean, when it starts out, a certain king had a pleasure garden. That just says all sorts of weird things. Hmm. Let's keep thinking. A certain king had a pleasure garden. Yeah, it would be interesting to know what happened to get the prince cursed. I wonder if it's actually a different story. Let's see. That almost sounds like a writing assignment I would have gotten in high school. Like, well, we know this story happened. What led into it? I don't know. Don't think I've ever heard of any other story mentioning a fox prince. Dun, 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 Apparently Prince Fox is the name of an artist. Well, I say artist. Musician. Not that that kind of thing wouldn't happen in a Grimm fairy tale. There was one of the stories in the Norwegian fairy tales I did last night that a woman had gotten tarred and feathered in her sleep, and she woke up not thinking she was herself and thought she was actually a bird. Because of she must be who she is, so when she went home, she figured if her dog didn't bark at her, or if her cows actually approved that she was her, she knew it was her. Make it her brother who wanted her, but ooh. That would be an interesting twist. And so that goes to the princess who had the gold ball that she liked playing with, and Frog had to rescue the ball for her. I think I read that one already. That's early in this book. That is the first story in this book. The Frog King. Like, I'm not going to kiss any frog. It's funny, in the story it wasn't a kiss, it just had to be nice to him. Where's it? Sorry. But yeah, stories that need to be finished. I've had a few of those. Let's see, what were the... Trying to find the conditions of Frog Prince wanted. The little liquid I have next to me is mead that I made. No, it's actually pretty good for coughing. Oh, that's... Hey, where is it? Okay. The frog's conditions. Let's see. What's in the lock of her hair, a ring from her finger, and a kiss from her... the version I've got on here was... Accept me as your companion. Let me sit next to you. Let me eat from your little golden plate and sleep on your bed. And you promise to love and cherish me. It's like he didn't change until she almost killed him. Let's see. I guess her father was forcing her to keep her promises that she had made. Yeah, it's like she threw him against the wall, crashed. Now leave me in peace, you nasty frog. But the frog didn't fall down dead. Instead, he fell down on the bed and became a handsome young prince. And it's like, well, now indeed he did become her dear companion, and she cherished him as she had promised. So she practically kills him to change him. It's had nothing to do with a kiss. It's like, yeah, the frog really just wanted creature comforts. And I was like, she doesn't want him in his bed, so she throws him against the wall, and instead of dying, he transforms. Weird. But, like, all of the readings I've done between the Grimm brothers and the Irish folk tales that I did last month, and the Norwegian ones I'm doing now, a lot of the stories are the same. Well, princesses are like that, I guess. I mean, if I dug deep into my lore, like my personal character lore, I'm the result of a princess who's squirting a prince. So, elf. Gonna catch an elf. That's when I drink. Dealing with dragons. That sounds familiar. Ouch. It escapes? How the hell? Dang, mouth got away. Wait. Okay. Time didn't play. Godfather Sparrow. Loyal Godfather Sparrow. Godfather? Godfather! It's not the Godfather. Once upon a time, there was a deer about to give birth, and she asked the fox to be the godfather. However, the fox invited the sparrow to be the godfather as well. And the sparrow wanted to invite his special good friend, the house dog, to be godfather. House dog. You gotta go live a little. Okay, well, have fun. I may just raid into it and see what happens. So. Da, 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 da. Oh, 3-hour stream so far. So which game are you going to go play? Ah. I haven't gotten myself addicted to that one yet. I think last night when I lurked, I don't think I heard anything on it. Yeah, true. So that's one of the reasons I canceled my paid subscription to the Star Wars Online, because I wasn't playing it anymore. Alright. Have fun. Okay. Loyal Godfather Sparrow. Once upon a time, there was a deer about to give birth, and she asked the fox to be the godfather. However, the fox invited the sparrow to be the godfather as well. And the sparrow also wanted to invite his special good friend, the house dog, to be the godfather. However, the dog's master had tied him up with a rope because the dog had returned home very drunk from a wedding. Drunk dog. The sparrow thought that this was not a problem, and pecked at the rope until one thread after another, and the dog was released. Now they went together to the godfather's banquets and enjoyed themselves very much, because there was plenty to eat and drink there. The dog, however, didn't pay attention and drank too much wine again. When they stood up, his head was so heavy that he could barely stand on his 4 legs. Nevertheless, he staggered away toward home. Finally, however, he fell over and remained lying in the middle of the road. Just then a carter came and wanted to drive over him with his cart. "Carter, don't do that," the sparrow cried out, "or you'll pay with your life." However, the carter didn't listen to him. Instead, he whipped his horses and drove the horses right over the dog so that the wheels broke the dog's bones. The fox and the sparrow dragged the godfather home, and when the dog's master saw him, he said, "He's dead," and gave him to the carter to bury. Now the carter thought that the dog's skin was very useful, so he loaded the dog into the cart and drove away. However, the sparrow flew nearby and yelled out, "Carter, you'll pay for this with your life! Carter, you'll pay for this with your life!" The carter was angry at the little bird because he thought he was being taken for a fool. So he grabbed his axe and tried to hit the sparrow, who flew higher into the air. Instead of hitting the sparrow, the carter hit his horse's head, so that the horses fell down dead. The carter had to leave it lying there and drive with the other 2 horses. Then the sparrow returned and sat down on the head of another horse. "Carter, you'll pay for this with your life!" The carter ran towards the bird and yelled, "I've got you!" But as he tried to hit the sparrow, he struck his head on the horse, so that it fell over dead. Now there was only 1 horse left. The sparrow didn't wait long and sat on the head of the 3rd horse and cried out, "Carter, you'll pay for this with your life!" But the carter was now furious that he didn't think about what he was doing and just swung his axe randomly. Now all 3 horses had been beaten to death, and he had to leave the carts standing there. Angry and vitriolific, he went home and sat down behind the oven. But the sparrow had flown after him and sat down in front of the window and cried out, "Carter, you'll pay for this with your life!" The carter grabbed his axe and smashed the window, but he didn't hit the sparrow. Now the bird hopped inside the house and down on top of the oven and cried out, "Carter, you'll pay for this with your life!" Crazy and blind with rage, he chopped the entire oven to pieces, and as the sparrow flew away from one place to another, the carter smashed all the utensils and mirrors and chairs, benches, table, and all the walls of his house. Finally, he grabbed hold of the sparrow and said, "Now I've got you." He stuck the bird into his mouth and swallowed it whole. However, when the sparrow was in the carter's body, it began to flap its wings, and it fluttered up into the carter's mouth and stuck inside its head outside, and cried out, "Carter, you'll pay for this with your life." Well, now the carter gave his axe to the wife and commanded, "Wife, strike the bird in my mouth and kill it." But the wife missed her mark, and instead struck her husband in the head, so that he immediately fell down dead, while the sparrow flew out and away. What the hell? Let's see, the Prince Swan. Not the Swan Princess, but the Prince Swan. There once was a maiden all alone in the middle of a large forest. Suddenly, a swan came flying up to her. He had a ball of yarn and said, "I'm not a swan. I'm an enchanted prince, and if you unravel the yarn to which I am attached, then I'll be released from the spell. But take care that you don't break it in two. Otherwise, I won't be able to return to my kingdom and won't be saved. If you unravel the yarn, you'll become my bride." The maiden took the yarn as the swan climbed into the sky. The maiden unraveled the yarn easily, and she unraveled and unraveled each day until the end of the yarn could easily be seen. However, just then, it unfortunately became caught in the thorn bush and broke in two. The maiden was very distressed and wept. Since it was turning night and the wind was blowing so loudly in the forest, she became afraid and began to run as fast as she could. And as she was running, she saw a small light and rushed towards it. There she found a horse, a house, and knocked at the door. A little old woman came out and was astounded to see a maiden standing before her door. "Oh, my child," she said, "where are you coming from so late in the night?" "Please, may I have a place to sleep for the night, and also some food?" she asked. "I've lost my way in the forest." "This is a difficult situation," the old woman replied. "I'd gladly give you what you want, but my husband is a cannibal. If he finds you, he'll eat you. There's no mercy. But if you remain outside, wild animals will eat you. So we'll see if I can help you get through this." The old woman let her enter and gave her some food, then hid her beneath the bed. The cannibal always came home before midnight, right before the sun had fully set, and left right before sunrise. So it wasn't long before he entered and said, I smell human flesh." And he searched around the room until he reached under the bed and dragged the maiden out. "Now this will make for a good snack, 'cause she's a snack." Oh. But the old woman pleaded and pleaded for the maiden's life until he promised to let her live overnight and to eat her for his breakfast. However, the old woman woke the maiden before sunrise. "Hurry and get away before my husband awakes. Here's a golden spinning wheel for you as a gift you're to cherish. My name is Sun." The maiden went away, and in the evening she came to another home. And the same thing happened there that happened the previous night. At her departure, the second old woman gave her a golden spindle and said, "My name is Moon." On the third evening, she came to a third house, where the old woman gave her a golden wheel and said, "My name is Star." And she also informed her that even though the yarn hadn't been completely unraveled, enough that it was been unraveled so that the prince hadn't been able to reach his kingdom where he was king. In fact, he was already marked and lived in great splendor on a glass mountain. Then she said, "You will reach the mountain this evening, but a dragon and a lion are laying in front and protecting it. That's why you must take this bread and bacon to pacify them." And everything happened just as she said. The maiden threw the bread and the bacon into the jaws of the monsters, and they let her pass. When she came to the castle gate, however, the guards wouldn't let her enter. So she sat down in front of the gate and began to spin on her golden wheel. The queen peered down from above and was pleased to see a beautiful little wheel. So she went down and asked if she could have it, because royalty is spoilty. The maiden told her that she could have it if she could spend the next night in the king's bedroom. The queen agreed, and the maiden was led upstairs to the room. Now everything that was spoken of in this room could be heard, the king's bedroom. So when it was night and the king was in his bed, the maiden sang, "Doesn't King Swan still think of me, his faithful Juliet, his bride to be? She's come from afar, she's seen all three, sun, moon, and star, and face to beast. Won't King Swan now wake up at least?" But the king didn't hear her, because the cunning queen had been afraid of the maiden and had given the king a sleeping potion. So he slept soundly and didn't hear the maiden, and all that she revealed. In the morning, all her efforts had been lost, and the maiden had to return to the gates and sit down, and spin on her second spindle, which also pleased the queen. So the maiden gave it to her with the same condition, that she be allowed to spend the night next to the king's bedroom, where she once again sang. Doesn't King Swan so think of me, his faithful Julian, his bride to be? She's come from afar, where she's seen all three, sun, moon, and star, and faced two beasts. Won't King Swan now wake up at least? But the king kept sleeping soundly due to the sleeping potion, and so the maiden lost her spindle. On the third morning she sat down with her golden reel and kept winding it. The queen wanted this precious object as well, and promised the maiden that she could spend another night next to the king's room. However, the maiden had discovered the queen's deception and asked the king's servants to give the king something else to drink that evening. Then she began to sing again. Doesn't King Swan still think of me, his beautiful Juliet, his bride to be? She's come from afar, where she's seen all three, sun, moon, and star, and faced two beasts. Won't King Swan now wake up at least? Well, the king awoke when he heard her voice, and he recognized her and asked the queen, "If someone loses a key and then finds it again, which key does one keep, the old or the new?" The queen replied, Certainly the old key. Well then, you can no longer be my wife. I've found my first bride again. Ow. The next morning the queen had to return to her father's realm, and the king married his true bride, and they lived happily together until they died. Must be nice. Okay. One more story for you cubs. One more tale read to you by a wolf. And I promise to try not to sing this one. But admittedly, the last one... Oh, well, shit, that's what I sung in it too. Sorry, cubs. I will have to sing it. No, the music doesn't go with the song. The golden egg. As opposed to the golden goose. But the golden egg, yeah. Once upon a time, there were a couple of poor broom makers, and they had a little sister to support. They had just barely enough to lead a miserable life. Every day they had to go into the forest and search for brushwood, and after they had to bound the brooms. Little sister sold them. One time they went into the forest, and the youngest brother climbed a birch tree and wanted to chop off the branches. All of a sudden he found a nest, and a dark-colored little bird was sitting in it. He could see something glittering beneath its feathers. Since the little bird didn't fly away, and also was not shy, he lifted the bird's wing and found a golden egg. So he took it and climbed down the tree. They were delighted by their discovery and brought it to the goldsmith, who told them it was genuine gold and gave them money for it. The next morning they went into the forest again and found another golden egg. The little bird was patient and let them take it just like the last time. While this continued for some time, every morning they fetched a golden egg and were soon rich. However, one morning the bird said, "From now on, I'm not going to lay any gold eggs. But bring me to the goldsmith, and you'll have all the fortune." The broom-makers did what she said, and brought the bird to the goldsmith, and when it was alone with him, the bird sang, "Whoever eats my heart will soon be king and very smart. Whoever eats my liver, whether young or old, will find each morning a bag of gold." Yeah, that bird's chow. When the goldsmith heard that, he called for the two young broom makers and said, "Let me have the bird, and I'll marry your little sister." The two men said yes, and the wedding was soon held. Then the goldsmith said, "For my wedding day, I want to eat the bird. So you two roast the bird on a stake, and be careful you don't ruin it. Then bring it to me when it's done." The goldsmith intended to take the heart and liver and eat them. Two brothers stood by the fire and turned the spits. When they kept turning it, the bird was almost done roasting. A little piece fell out. "Hey," said one of the brothers, "I've got to try that." He ate it up, and soon thereafter another little piece fell out. "That's for me," said the older brother, and he tasted it. They had eaten the little heart and the little liver, and now they had no idea how blessed they were by all this. When the bird had been completely roasted, they carried it to the wedding table. The goldsmith sliced it open and wanted to eat the heart and liver as quickly as possible, but they both had vanished. All at once he became dreadfully angry and screamed, "Who ate the bird's heart and liver?" The two broom makers replied, "That must have been us. 2 small pieces fell out when we were turning the spit, so we ate them." "Well, if you've eaten the heart and liver, you can keep your sister." and with all his rage, he chased them away. Okay. That is 2 stories of heart and liver eating. It's not always lungs and liver. Lungs and liver. And heart and liver. That bird couldn't have been very big. Anyway. Told you I wasn't going to sing anymore. I lied. Okay. Let's see. Notice those come in. So. Should I sing something? Should I torture your ears? Should I torture my own? Let me do something real quick. I don't need Discord open anymore. So I'm not on the streaming window. And then Little Red Riding Hood. You sure are looking good. You're everything a big bad wolf could want. Oh, Little Red Riding Hood. I don't think that a good girl should go walking in the spooky old woods alone. Oh, what big eyes you have, the kind of eyes that drive horsemen mad. Little Red Riding Hood, even bad wolves can be good. Okay, I cannot do this with playback the way it's coming back as low as this. I'm not doing that. Nope. Clover is on. So I will. Well, I don't hardly know her. Why is my thing not doing it? Raid. Clover. Swan. Mimicry. Boop. Raid has been created. Cubs, you know the drill. Be nice, be good, sleep well. Don't do anything I wouldn't do because there's not much that I wouldn't. It's 12:21. We have been on for about 3.5 hours. So, let's go raid Clover.